Well, traders, it looks like we are into another battle type of day in the markets. We're in the red, but not red by much. I mean, if you think about it, opening price was at 368.98. We're at 367.75. So we're not far off of it. Let's see what happens towards the close. Will we get back into the 368 handle, or will we tick down towards 366? Biden is speaking right now. I'll tell you all about it right here on At the Close.
All right, it is time for pre-market prep at the close.
3 consecutive highs, opened, matched yesterday's low, and then once it took out there, that's all the breakout momentum traders needed.
All right, traders, let's get into this market and see what we can find right now. It looks like the battle is out there, and we can't seem to hold right now. It seems like every time we're going up, we're just kind of staying sideways. I think a lot of this is on the earnings. Let's just be honest. A lot of people are just still waiting to see what happens. But let's get our charts up here, and let's talk about the overall market. I'll show you guys the SPY and what I see right now. Looks like we're battling here. It looks like we're just going sideways. And I feel like this is kind of normal. Until we get some of the bigger earnings stock, we're going to be kind of stuck in this sideways action. Of course, Tesla reporting today. That's going to be definitely something we'll talk about in a little bit. But Netflix, how's Netflix doing? Well, Netflix from the open kind of went up right towards the high, rejected to continue breaking out, but is going sideways right now, at least not just giving up all the gains from this morning. That's what we wanted to see. Now, of course, this we just got more and more Fed talk out there that this doesn't really help anything. So I'm going to keep my eye on what happens there. But we did get some news from Biden. If you're wondering why you're seeing stocks like MVST, like Microvast, get some push. I'll tell you all about it here. So really, it's all about President Biden coming out with a Department of Energy that it's awarding $2.8 billion in grants here for bipartisan infrastructure law to 20 manufacturing and processing companies for projects across 12 states. These are all having to do with EV and infrastructure, definitely getting some lift. So if you saw some companies getting some spike, I think ChargePoint will probably maybe eventually get a little bit of love on this, but keep watch. There's going to be a lot going on here. Which companies will take the lead? I'll definitely have to dig a little deeper to find exactly on what companies are attached to this. But I did see Microvast getting some big push, and I think that was exactly on those comments. Let's keep going. If you guys got tickers to call out, definitely let me know. Stupid Fed hike talk this afternoon with Kashkari. Yes, it's difficult. And Kashkari is going to go ahead and reiterate what he probably said earlier, which was that he sees no reason why not to push the benchmark funds above the 4.75. And I think we're just kind of stuck sideways here. We brought Blink and EVgo, says Easy Mike. Can't blame you on that. You can take a look maybe at Blink. I didn't take a look at it today, but Blink definitely an option. FSIL option. You know, there's just a lot here, and a lot is going to get moving. But I think it's going to take a while really to kind of see this kind of come into play. But one thing to notice is more and more talk of kind of awarding kind of this free money, I'll call it, because that's how it is for these companies. This is why I think it's an important time to really consider about what you feel the big investments are moving forward in the next decade. Which ones are going to be the ones that you want to be a part of? Well, we definitely want to keep these on our radar, whether it's autonomous plays, whether it's infrastructure plays. I think these are the investments that make sense right now, because even if we are going to go slightly down into next year, eventually these investments are going to come into play, which is going to help these companies truly get off the ground. And free money, seems like you turned in at the right time. Well, just ask Biden if he'll hand out some more money out there. It seems like right now we just keep busting out more and more grants. We give out loans, and I just don't know. Where are we getting all this money from? Because it sure as hell isn't from our balance sheets. So I just don't know about all this investment into EV, the push. I think it's an excessive push at the time being, especially when we're in high inflation. This should not be the focus. The focus right now, in my eyes, should be trying to battle inflation instead of trying to spend more. But hey, to each his own. Let's get to certain stocks that are making big moves on the day. Let's go to the SPY and see what were the biggest gainers of the day. And then we can go from different stocks that have catalysts. Of course, Netflix, we already talked about that one. ISRG, one that I brought up this morning, did get a spike towards the open, but could not hold that move there. So we'll just keep going here. I'm going to slide this a little bit more so you guys can see a little bit more of the charts. UAL, giving up the gains there. It tried to get back into the shadow zone, could not get into that gap zone, rejecting the 40 break, and now heading back towards the 39. If it breaks 39, could easily be right back towards where we gapped up from. So just keep on watch on UAL. Even though this got a lift, it's coming right back down. Let's go to Procter & Gamble, as that had a lift in the early pre-market, but pulled back here right to support. And I mean, a lot of this is the SPY pulling back, right? I mean, the SPY didn't essentially do anything today. Just went kind of sideways, hasn't really moved. And I think this is a lot of uncertainty showing up in investors. Even though they feel that this is the buy the dip mentality, they're not taking control. And it's interesting to see the SPY where it is. And I do see you guys talking about oil in the chat. And let's take a look really quickly. I wanted to see where WTI was this morning. I talked about it, and we were at around 83.80s this morning. Now we're at 85.33, and we did make a run to 86 on the front month for crude. So if you guys remember this morning, I said one of the best stocks that I was looking to trade was ExxonMobil for a move back up, going towards that 102.33. And we got exactly that reading. And why was I looking at that level? Well, you guys can see it here from the 4-hour chart, how that 102.33 area was acting as resistance. We just blew through it today and got a good move there in ExxonMobil. I was able to capture some of this gain. I wasn't able to capture all of it, but it was a good day here for some other stocks also. Oxy getting some lift there, taking off, not having a bad day there in Oxy. Then if you take a look there, there's also Chevron. Chevron was really strong today. So look at that move in Chevron. Looks like we definitely got a breakout here in some oil names. Now we'll see if they can continue. I know I got hit hard for a long time by Joel and Dennis on this call on oil, but it looks like I'm finally having my day in oil. Looks like I might have been a little bit early to the trade, but now we're really starting to get going. VLO also having a really good day. Valero Energy. Now we'll see how these can really kind of take off, right? If we look at Valero, we're talking about refining and marketing ones. And you can see here, there's a couple other ones that you guys can keep on watch. Let's go to the high cap here. MPC, of course, Marathon Petroleum Corp. This was one that was mentioned by Chaikin last week, and it's not looking too bad. I'd like to see this one close towards the 110. A couple other ones that you guys can watch is PSX. Look for this one to try to make its move towards 100. This is Phillips 66. It was above 100 in June. We're going to look to see if we can continue making runs. All right, man, stocks are so cheap. Well, which one's cheap? Stacks? Let me know what you like. You guys keep throwing up in the chat what you guys want to talk about, and we'll keep going through. Yeah, natural gas is such a tough trade. I'll tell you that, guys. It's down there towards $19, and I think eventually it does get a spike, but it's so hard to trade. And there's a reason why they call it the Widowmaker. And this, I think, is exactly that, down towards $19. And we'll just have to see if it ever gets off the ground. All right, keep going. Let's go towards some other energy names. If you guys were able to catch some of the smaller players, those definitely started getting a push, like Rig, Rez. You guys can keep watch on some of these, BOR. We'll see if these can start making moves, especially if we keep seeing the oil trend go higher. Get your kicks at Phillips 66, says Tiny. Natural gas, yeah, I mean, it's tough. It's tough. I just don't see it getting off the ground right now. And I mean, And how's the uranium trade here? CCJ also the same thing, right? This trade fell off the tape and doesn't look good right now. We'll have to keep watch. Now, one area that I will keep watch is like coal players, right? This took a big hit today, but pulling back to the 50 moving average. Will we find a bounce here and come back up through the 28s, trying to make a new high on a stock like BTU will be something to keep on watch. Joel and Triple D lost our gain holding oil. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. You know, sometimes they're going to see it different than we are. And I always say this, like at the end of the day, when you're listening to even my conversation, Joel's, Dennis, it's always about understanding that we're giving a perspective. You have to go and determine your decisions. That's why I can sometimes give perspective that's away from what Joel and Dennis are thinking, because I'll also take their perspective on the conversation and then try to tie it into my own decision making. And this is what we're all here for, is to help each other. Let's continue going into what else you guys see out there. CCJ gets crushed. Yeah, it's getting crushed. Let's go to some of these tech stocks. ASML. Let's go towards no, that's AMSL. No, it isn't. I don't know why I'm messing up this stock here. I got you guys right now. ASML. There you go. All right, let's take a look there. It's at 419. Yesterday was below the 400. They came out with earnings today, and we did get a little bit of a spike. Keeping my eyes on stocks like this because it's going to determine a lot of what happens in this semiconductor equipment, like Lam Research, also going to be playing into this play. Right now, they're just kind of hanging on. They're trying to bounce here, but if they do get crushed through the support, I want to make sure I catch that day, because that day they will all come down. It looks like they're all just hanging out right by support, especially the leaders, KLC, LRCX, AMAT. Will these kind of get off the ground, or will they break their support? It's something to keep on watch. All right, let's keep going. Looks like Change Agent bringing up PLL, of course, with the mentions of lithium investing from Biden and getting some lift there. Now that's starting to get some push. I think this is why I want to be some kind of invested long-term in lithium plays, whether it be PLL, whether it be like a LAC. I think these are definitely stocks that I want to be in for a long-term run. Of course, we're talking maybe even a couple years outlook. I think this is stocks that I want to at least take part in. And if you think about it, this stock has been just kind of holding the gains, even though it pulls back to some levels, longer-term support. That's where I kind of want to be in. So if I can get LAC somewhere close between 22 and 24, doesn't look too bad for a longer-term investment. We'll just have to wait and see. ASML, massive overhead supply. I agree with that. And also for me, the outlook is not what I like there. Long-term, definitely, I would say some lithium plays, not bad to be in. If you want to go for the ETF way, an interesting way is with LIT. But one thing to remember about LIT is that it does include Tesla. And so how Tesla goes, so will LIT. And so just be careful there with using that one. Another one that I like that most people don't know about is ALB. I like that one because it has some diversification. It's not just lithium. And another one there that you guys can keep on watch is also SQM. SQM is another one that has some diversification, and you guys can get after it for some lithium plays. We'll see what happens. All right, we'll see what else is going out there. You're shorting LAC to 15. We'll see what happens there. All right, let's keep going. NIO is bad, says Michael. Let's see what's going on in those Chinese autos. They're definitely getting pounded on. Wow, I've been missing this drop off, and it's a quick one here. NIO, and how NIO goes, you'll also see LI go, and also XPEV. What does that show me more? The demand issues showing up in China, the GDP issues, the control of the government is destroying their stocks. I mean, take a look at BABA. Look where it's at. That's 71 and about to break through the 52-week low, about to do all-time lows for BABA. This is exactly what's been going on in China. They've been destroying their stocks, destroying their technology, destroying their EV stocks. Are they going to come back? And when will they come back? Is this their intention? Something to keep in mind. All right, let's keep going. Did see someone mention Celsius Holdings. This stock has held up better than most in her outlook for long term, especially for an energy drink. But the only thing I would say about Celsius Holding is that will it be able to hold up to a recession? I don't know if it's going to be able to hold up to a recession, especially at valuations where it's at right now. And I could see it coming back here, let's say closer to $50. I think that's where it makes more sense, but to each his own on Celsius. Celsius was an amazing rip. I can't say that was an amazing rip. It was a good lift there, but will this hold? I don't expect it to hold. All right, let's keep going. We'll take a look at some other stocks in the markets today. Of course, let's see how Roku traded off of those earnings from Netflix. Was it able to have a green day? And no, Roku, even though it had that spike in pre-market, just continued selling off. Just shows you how much confidence they have in Roku. Walt Disney also coming down there, wasn't able to hold the gains that Netflix gave it there because, I mean, if you look at it, Netflix is holding up compared to Disney, coming all the way back down towards the hourly support. Doesn't look too bad off the 98.50, but that weakness there doesn't make me too excited about Walt Disney. All right, let's keep going. We did see Adobe also give out some announcements, some pre-announcements today. It did get some lift even into the intraday and holding up. So this one doesn't look too bad. It's definitely trying to break through some highs through the 304. Wasn't able to do it today. And so you just got to continue seeing the battle there. Will it kind of break towards the 290s or the 304s? I'd keep on watch here. Definitely wouldn't want to see it break through the 295. Let's see it get back through the 300. Making its close towards 303 is what we kind of want to be looking for. Let's take a look at some other stocks out there. Snappy Snap says, ML, I won't forget you, man. I'm willing to take as many stocks from the chat today as possible because at the end of the day, I'm here for you guys. Normally, we would be having a boot camp during this time, and that's why, Joel is out also. But I'm just here for you guys today. Throw some tickers. I'll keep running through it. Talk about what I think about the story in the long term. And of course, you guys make your own investment decisions. Now, Snapchat, this is one area where I definitely do think that you're going to see the destruction coming into these social names. Snapchat has changed their business model often to try to continue the profitability, try to get some of that ad revenue. But I think in the long run, Snapchat goes away and gets destroyed, of course, by TikTok users because people are not watching Snapchat, I think, anymore. What they're kind of doing, using Snapchat for is just for kind of their filters right now. And so that does give them an advantage, their kind of AR aspect, right? But in my eyes, at least for right now, in the long run, I don't see Snap having a competitive advantage and being able to innovate to stay within the users. They're still going to be probably around, but they might even be cheaper than they are here at $10. It could eventually go back down towards the all-time low. And of course, Snapchat was at $1.5. And that's right when it kind of IPO'd, going down all the way into 2019. It's a turnaround story, but I don't know if they're going to be able to turn this around on Snap. All right, let's go towards some different ones. Generac definitely put out that pre-announcement, got destroyed down to 109.67 and just keeps getting whacked on the bid. That's one that you got to know sometimes when you got to go. And in my eyes, that candle told me enough. I'd want the hell out of Generac. If anything, I'd be looking for pops to get short on Generac. All right, let's go towards some other ones out there. It looks like dripping into the close. Let's take a look at the SPY. SPY is just kind of going sideways right now. We'll see if we kind of drip down towards 366 towards the close here. But sideways action, not fun, especially when you're trying to trade trends, right? That's not what we want to be seeing. That's not when we're going to have our trend type of days. So it was a difficult day. You can see it here. Healthcare was down big. So if you wanted to look at some areas to kind of trade, it was probably shorting into these healthcare names. And it was mainly in diagnostics and research. They definitely got hit. Some of the bigger names taking big hits. EXAS, big hit. Thermo Fisher, big hit. DHR, big hit. These stocks taking huge hits, these diagnostics and research stocks. That's what also brought down Kathy. Kathy now down to 35.27, going right back down towards the low, looking to crack back down through that 35.10 level. We'll see if it keeps cracking. We're right now just off of it, and we'll see if it gets down there towards 34. But definitely those diagnostic stocks did not help it, as it was the leading down sector here. Biotechs also big hit in biotechs today. They got hit hard there. BNTX down 8%, going towards the lows. Not something you want to be seeing there. VRTX, a stock that was holding up near the high, starting to turn around. Not what you want to be seeing there in VRTX. Moderna was starting to make a comeback, starting to get off the ground. Well, quickly, right back down. Be careful out there, team. Looks like healthcare took a big hit. All right, let's keep going. We'll take a look at some other stocks out there. Snap dropped the market, the last earnings. Yeah, it moves a lot of stocks. That is true. All right, Carvana. Let's take a look there. This was one of the companies that I think, might not make it out of this time. And I'm not trying to be mean about that, but Carvana, it's going to suffer during this time, because let's just be honest. What we are seeing here is the used car price went up really fast. It's not going down as fast with inflation. And another thing that's happening here, the demand that was for all these used cars dried up with the increases of interest rates. And now what you're going to see is recession. Really, if that's just starting to hit, or we're going to recession, well, then, of course, the auto industry is going to face the biggest down pressure out there. I feel like, this is definitely an area where you can see continued downside action. Not a stock that I would be trying to call the bottom on, especially because it did get the push in the pandemic. That's when it got the lift. Ever since then, and ever since we started seeing that trend change in used cars, it's been on a straight downhill, now down to $14.94. when this stock was above 300, team. So definitely not a stock that I want to be a part of. And I think that a lot of these companies are probably not going to be around for too much longer, like CarLotz, Carvana. There's a couple other ones that we can bring in, but not stocks that I like. All right, we'll see what else is going out there. Carvana will pop. Hey, wish you the best of luck. And I'm saying it can't pop, but I just don't like it in the meantime. All right, what else is doing out there? Looks like someone's bringing in Boeing. That's definitely a stock that we haven't talked about in a while. Boeing probably getting some lift with the UAL earnings. Of course, it got a little bit of a push there. Came back here towards the 138s. Now trying to take that next step up to the 140s. Doesn't look too bad on the intraday action. At least I can say that. Doesn't look bad at all. Kind of holding on here to the 138s, looking to make that next leg up. When is Boeing reporting? Let me take a look here. Boeing reports Wednesday, October 26th. So let's see if maybe we can get a run into that earnings. That's a push there towards 145, 147 before the earnings. That'd be a good outlook. Of course, BA did come really close towards that pandemic low. Didn't get right to it, but it got right off of it there in the beginning of October, where it was at off of the 121. So it's already made a big run. If you think about it, overall, it's been up about 13% in the last 17 days. I'd look for a little pullback, continued action going towards that 145, showing me they're trying to bring it back. Boeing doesn't look too bad on the chart, but needs to kind of hold. Vroom, definitely another one that I would be concerned about. All right, let's keep going. I saw one car commercial and never again. Yeah, I'd be concerned about those. SI, another one that I'm looking for continued downside action. It did continue today. This is, of course, a Bitcoin type of play towards the downside, but Riot we can take a look at that one. These are companies that I think are just going to struggle because the mining isn't going to be the same, especially if cryptocurrencies continue to drop down in pressure, because the overall asset, the asset that they track, isn't there anymore, isn't something to keep an eye out. And so I think it's very important to keep watch to see what happens there. Are we going to see Riot kind of hold on here? I wouldn't be so sure about that one. And I think that a lot of these kind of blockchain companies, they might not be around in time for, of course, these companies to turn around. I remember when I called Hut short from freaking 16, and everyone wanted to crush me because I wanted to turn around on the mining industry. Well, seems like I should have definitely held on to that 16 because we're down there towards $1.88. All right, let's keep going. Always here for you guys, Michael. Always here for the chat. And if you guys ever have anything, you guys can always reach out to me at Money Mitch BZ. Maybe it's something you just want to check about, or maybe it's an idea that you're thinking of. I always get traders to actually tag me, be like, hey, I'm thinking about this idea. I can't tell you what to do, but I'll always share my thinking with you so that you can get a different perspective. All right, let's keep going. We'll take a look at some other areas that you guys want to take a watch. Carvana under legal scrutiny. Yeah. In Illinois for missing car titles. Oh, yeah, that's not good. Let's keep going. We'll take a look at some other plays out there. Let's see if the Bitcoin miners are around for the next halving. Yeah, I would be concerned about any blockchain company. A lot of these are just going to get to the point where does it even make sense to continue the business if it's not profitable and you're not seeing the upside anytime soon? What about buy now, pay never? Well, you guys already know how I feel about that company. I remember when I tried to short this company at 39, got stopped out at 40, always going to look back at that one and be like, man, that was a miss right there. Because I felt like it right there on that run. I was like, this company has no business running right now. This is the worst environment for it. And I think in the long run, these are going to be like payday loans. They're going to be definitely a no-no. And there's a reason why you don't see banks offer payday loans, things like this, because at the end, they're kind of scammy, right? If you miss one payment, next thing you know, the interest rates just go through the roof and you can't even catch up to what you originally tried to pay for. All right, we'll see what else is going out in the markets right now. Let's go to Apple, of course, a favorite. How's it closing on the day? Looks like we're finally getting a little bit of a bounce there towards the close here. It's 359. Now we're starting to see that lift. Let me see how the imbalances were. If they were towards the upside, looks like we had 330 million towards the sell side. Bullard out there saying Fed shouldn't react to declines in the stock market. Inflationary expectations are looking good now, at least based on tips market. And that came from Bullard. So Bullard giving you some bullish outlook. Wouldn't you know it? The Feds just don't know what the hell they want to talk about. That's the way I feel like it is. It just seems like they one goes and gives a bearish comment, one goes gives a bullish comment. And now you get the resident bear, I would call him, Bullard, the St. Louis Fed president, to now go ahead and give a bullish comment. It just seems like they just kind of mix up hands. They don't know what to look for. But we'll see what happens with Tesla. Don't miss the earnings call. It's coming up. It's already moving here. We'll see what happens in their earnings. You don't want to miss our stream. That's going to be a little bit later today. Don't miss that team. That starts at 5:30, the Tesla earnings call. I will be there. I want to see you guys there. Don't miss that. I'll even give you guys the link right now to watch the earnings call with us, and we'll be right there. It's going to be just in about an hour and a half, so take a little bit of a break, maybe catch up with the earnings reports. And don't miss, we always put out an earnings recap, especially for notable earnings like Tesla. As simply as just come on over to the earnings stream and I'll have that article for you, or you can go on Benzinga and search up Tesla earnings. I'm sure it'll be on our homepage soon enough. Of course, my man Chris Ketchy probably working on that. I'll see you guys a little bit later. And of course, tomorrow on Pre-Market Prep, that's going to be at 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Eastern. Joel will still be out, but I will be there, of course, with my chart outlook. And of course, Dennis Dick joining us. Tomorrow, we get Mark Chaikin. We need to go ahead and shake the shaking to find out what he sees in the market. Didn't give us a bad couple of names in the oil market. We're going to have to see his outlook for the S&P 500 and what's moving forward. See you next time, team. Keep going at it, and definitely come over to the stream a little bit later today so that you guys can catch the Tesla earnings call. See you next time. Hit the like on your way out.